At the time, I was working out of St. Charles, a suburb of St. Louis, and one of my coworkers pointed out that my eyes seemed to be taking on a yellow tint. That was probably one of the first signs, and my boss came up and confirmed the same thing. He said, "I think you better go see my doctor," and gave me his number. I made an appointment with the doctor, went to see him, and he did some blood tests, and he gave me basically a list of different things it could be, and one of them was this disease that was made well known by a particular sports player who had actually died from it before they had developed liver transplants and such. From there, it's kind of a blur. A lot of it I just kind of brushed off and thought I'm young and invincible and God will heal me type thing. But things progressed and got worse, and one morning I woke up feeling just absolutely awful. Had fevers, and I think I was throwing up probably, and got into the hospital, and turned out I had an infection in my bile ducts. When that infection finally hit me, I mean, that's when I realized, okay, it's, just praying and, asking people to pray over me and, expecting healing is just not going to work this time right now. That infection, I realized it's something that was going to have to be dealt with one way or another. The doctors told me, you need to get on a list for a liver transplant. I was in so much shock of it all that it was hard to process what the future could even be. Obviously, chasing the music career suddenly seemed like all that hopes and dreams would certainly come crashing to a halt.
Lying in a bed, miles away from home. Doctors and the nurses near, yet sometimes I feel alone. Feel like I'm missing faces, I was in between how long. All I have to comfort me is the solace of my son. Beams of light shine through the window, warming up my skin. Feel your presence inside of me, stirring deep within. You cover me with your love so near. You move me, Lord, you save me from my darkest fear. Inspire me to write the songs of my life. Telling how you bless me through my strife.
As a kid, I always had a fascination with music. I was surrounded by it. My mother played piano. The piano was like right opposite my bedroom wall, and I'd often fall asleep to her playing Mozart or something. My father played a little blues and folk guitar, and he's actually the one who taught me my first few chords. And so even as a really young kid, first, second grade, I used to cut out cardboard instruments and put together teddy bear bands. But by the time 1986 rolled around, we ended up taking a small church group to the Creation Festival in Pennsylvania. And that music festival, we joined about 30,000 other Christians to hear the music of that time, and some speakers. And I got to see Petra, my favorite band of that time, well, of all time for that matter. And it was at that concert, hearing them sing Praise Ye the Lord and all the great songs that they did, leading us in worship that night, that I really felt the call of God upon my life and my musical talents in particularly, that He was calling me to use those for His glory, encouraging people and leading them in worship. And that night I dedicated my talents to the Lord. And ever since, I just felt that strong pull that this was what I was born to do, is to lead people in worship, encourage them with the music, and bless them. Shortly after seeing them, I wrote my first Christian song. It was called Candle in the Dark, and that was inspired in part by the candle lighting service at the end of the Creation Festival. It's a tradition they still hold true to today, where everyone lights a candle on the last night. One candle in the dark you don't think much of, but when you have 30,000 people with their candles lit on the hill, it's just incredible experience to really see the impact you can make on the world. And that really started it off for me with Christian music and the ministry.
Grew up loving you, you were always there. Felt your love surround me, knew your peace and your care. Now I am much older, soon I'll be a man. Wanna share your love, be all I can. Lord, I wanna be what you want me to be. Dear God, please do all you can to help me. A candle in the dark.
As a kid, my faith was very real to me. My parents, they lived out their faith before me, and so it was very real to them, and so it was very real to me. And every morning before we left, my parents would pray with us, and they would pray for the kids who would give us a hard time, and pray for our friends, and just that we would make a good impact on the school. And a lot of the kids that used to pick on me, they not only respected me for my musical abilities, but for my faith, and many of them became very serious about their own faith that was presented in their lives. And today, I have several friends that are very serious about their faith, and I can't help but think that it was through my music and through my example and those friendships that developed and living my faith out before them that made that difference. I put together my first Christian rock band. I think it was 9th grade, and